Hello everyone, Dr. Victoria Skirbo here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center in Wareham, Massachusetts. I'm going to do a card reading on the Texas abortion ban that just got passed in Texas a couple days ago, maybe even yesterday. And the fact that the Supreme Court did not block it. And says they're not gonna comment. And there was a 4-5 decision to not comment. The three, of course, most liberal, SCOTUS, along with John Roberts, and then the rest of the conservative ones said to let it stand. And I think they're waiting for the lower courts to rule. So I'm just going to read from an NPR article here as to what exactly is going on with this. I want to get my facts straight. It says, with the Supreme Court, the last law went into effect in Texas that bans abortions after about 6 weeks of pregnancy. Most women don't even know they're pregnant at 6 weeks, especially if you have an irregular period. That is well before many women even know they're pregnant. The law also provides citizens to sue abortion providers and anyone who helps a woman obtain an abortion, including those who give a woman a ride to a clinic or provide financial assistance to obtain an abortion. So if your friend says, I'm pregnant and can you drive me to the clinic, you can get sued in Texas. Private citizens who bring these suits don't need to show any connection to those that they're suing. So you could just be driving your friend to a clinic, and one of these anti-abortion people with a camera or a phone, everybody has a phone, takes a picture of you. If in fact, I imagine they can look into your financial records. If you take $300 or $400 out of your account, maybe they can say you helped pay. This is craziness. It's just freaking craziness. The law makes no exceptions for cases involving rape or incest. So if you get raped or you're incest by somebody in your family, you're pregnant over 6 weeks, you cannot get an abortion. And if somebody tries to help you get an abortion, they can get sued. Okay. It says, here's why the law is one of the strictest abortion laws in the country. It bans abortions as soon as cardiac activity is detectable. That is around 6 weeks, which is before lots of people know they're pregnant. Other states have tried to do this, but those laws have been challenged by abortion rights groups and blocked by federal courts again and again. How is this law different from other state efforts? Says groups who oppose abortion rights have pushed for this Texas law, hoping that it will be harder for federal courts to knock it down. Instead of requiring public officials to enforce the law allows individuals to bring civil lawsuits against abortion providers or anyone else found to aid and abet illegal abortions. So they're giving the average citizen the power over women's bodies, even if they don't know this woman. And even if it's a nuisance lawsuit, you still have to pay. So this is really, really bad. These lawsuits are not against the women, says John Sago of the Texas Right to Life. Oh yeah, it's nothing to do with the woman, right? It's going to be hard to read on this because I definitely have an opinion. The lawsuit would be against the individual making money off the abortion. Okay, making money off the abortion. So OBGYNs who give abortions are making money off the abortions. It is a medical procedure. The abortion industry itself. Wow, it's a big industry. Yeah. So this is not spy on your neighbor and see if they're having an abortion. Well, yes, it is, actually, Mr. John Sago from the Texas Right to Life. In a federal lawsuit challenging this, the Coalition of Abortion Providers and Reproductive Rights Groups said the law places a bounty on people who provide or aid abortions, inviting random strangers to sue them. So let's see what else it says here. It says, what do the laws mean for patients and abortion providers? Dr. Bhavik Kumar, a family medicine doctor who works for Planned Parenthood in Houston, said the law creating a lot of uncertainty for patients and providers, but Kumar insists he will comply. The ban, though, will likely mean a lot of questions for patients about how they can get an abortion outside of Texas, Kumar says. I know that there may be people who don't have the ability to make it out of state. The logistics and ability to do so is not an option for them. So I'm really concerned about what's going to happen to people. Well, they'll probably do a few back alley abortions now, won't they? Another doctor, whose name I'm not going to try to pronounce, sorry, doc, over the weekend, that patients are apprehensive. They understand that the abortion they're having this week, last week, the week before, is something that they wouldn't be able to have next week. So they've been asking about it and asking, if we were here in September, would I be able to get this? And what does this mean for abortion laws in other states? It says if the federal courts ultimately allow the law to stand, it is very likely that, of course they will, it is very likely that other conservative states will move to pass similar laws. So, of course, why they see it works, so why not try, right? Okay, so that's pretty much common sense. So it says, what happens next? Multiple court challenges to the law are underway, including several lawsuits in the state court in Texas targeting anti-abortion rights groups, including Texas Right to Life. Abortion rights groups are also organizing protests and demonstrations in Texas in opposition to the law. A spokeswoman for the Right to Life told NPR that no lawsuits against abortion providers are imminent, and abortion providers say they will comply with the law as long as it is in effect. So, let's see what's going to happen to this law in Texas. Okay. This is for the law in Texas. I'm using the Arcanum Deck. Which is a beautiful deck. So this is the Texas law banning abortion, that are done later than 6 weeks, no matter how you got pregnant. Okay. I think that personally, I think that this situation requires a community effort to be able to get women to places where they can have safe terminations of their pregnancy, along with, in some cases, childcare and, driving somebody somewhere. I think there's going to be a whole network of that. That's what I think when I see these things. But let's see. Let's see what the cards say. Okay. So we're starting with the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords. This, to me, says it is an initial action, but it isn't necessarily, and this might sound ridiculous, a well thought out action on the part of these Right to Life organizations. It's a big sword, but it is an inexperienced swordsman. So let's see what's next. What's crossing it? The Tower. Well, It would probably be inappropriate for me to say the fear of the wrath of God will come down upon them. And I'm sure many people, because I say that, who happen to be meandering and looking to see what I have to say about this, are going to say, the wrath of God's going to come down on you, you heathen. The devil is in the tarot. You know, I've had a few of those over the time. Not that I'm asking for them. Please, please, let's just put a bubble. Put a bubble. I don't want to hear any of that stuff. But I feel like this law is going to bring down the wrath of the feminine. We've had the right to a safe and legal abortion since 1972 as women. And I have yet to meet a woman who has had to make that choice where it hasn't been a heart-wrenching decision. It's not the easiest choice in the world to make, but it is a choice that we need to have, because not everybody can have a child, and not every child is born of love or even anything consensual or even just a happy, good time, right? So the energy of the conception is within the child, So, and some children can, and everybody has their thing that they come into their shadow, that they come into work, and they come into heal. And there are some people who've had terrible beginnings, or certainly the conception was a terrible beginning, but end up having a good life. But there's probably less of that than there is, because it's such a emotionally fraught thing, especially if you don't feel like you can have the child. That is very, very difficult. So I feel like the tower coming down is women saying, no, 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 no. And at the root of this is the death card. And of course, at the root of this, for the anti-abortion people, it's like, oh, well, they're killing babies, the right to life, the right to life. Well, the woman also has a right to life. She's alive. She has the right to life. I think women need to have a choice. This is my own personal opinion. So of course, you guys know me, so you probably know I'm going to say this. A woman has the right to choose. Is having an abortion something that can be taken lightly? Absolutely not. And like I say, I don't know a woman who's ever had one that took it lightly, who was connected to her own feelings, her own heart, right? Sometimes in trauma, you dissociate, and that can be different, right? So it's not a decision to be taken lightly, but it is a decision that the person's body who is going to give birth to this child really has the ultimate right. We are, as women, the life givers. They say God gives us life. Well, yeah, God gives everything life, right? The trees and everything. We're all God. We're all part of God. But it is the woman's body where the baby comes from, and she has to have autonomy around her body. She cannot be controlled because she is a female. And if women were supported and there was more opportunity, and having children didn't take away your earning possibilities, I'm sure many more people would have children if there was a system that would support them. And of course, these people with all these right to life laws do not want to feed children. They don't want to send them to school. They don't want to make sure they're okay once they're born. That's the mother's problem. That's the mother's problem. Okay. So at the root is life and death, but it's also change. So this is going to bring around a huge change. Now, is it a change to the positive, or is it a change for the negative? We have in the past the Wheel of Fortune. So something has changed. We have the Fool in the sky. Somebody just pulled into my driveway. I'm not expecting anybody. So something new, something out of the ordinary, something, someplace we haven't been before. Huh. The Fool. Someplace we haven't been before. We've had it where it was legal and we've had it where it was illegal. So what could it possibly be what we haven't had before? Huh. We have the King of Wands in the immediate future. This is, this looks like, what's his name? Roberts. As soon as I pulled this, I thought of Judge Roberts. Oh. Hold on one second. Hi, sorry. I paused and resumed because I couldn't tell if I was paused or resumed. That was my sister-in-law. I forgot that she was coming over for an adjustment, so I love spending any time with her. But I do remember where I was at. So we're talking about this Texas law and what it means, like what it means. And so I feel as though this was the immediate future. This to me feels like John Roberts. Just as soon as I looked at it, that doesn't really look like him. I mean, John Roberts isn't exactly this like handsome goateed, long-haired, dark-haired guy. Or maybe he is and we just can't see it. Anyway, this is his energy. There's, I think with John Roberts, and I think this is why the King of Wands comes up for me as for him, for me as him, is because I think at the core he has a belief in the Constitution. And I think when he does things, when he does other things where it may seem like, I don't know, where it may seem like it's more of like a money thing, he'll go in the conservative rate. But I think when it comes to that fiery, and I think he's an Aquarius actually, but that fiery, like what is a person's right? What is their real right? Well, the person's right is a right to themselves. And when you force women to have children, you're taking that right away. So to have a child or not have a child is a woman's choice, really. Okay, that was my husband. So this has to be quick. Yeah, so I think for him it's that fiery truth, the right to yourself. King of Wands. How it's seen from the outside, the first thing that came to mind was this is a way to make money. I mean, ultimately, it's true. I mean, people are gonna use their wallet in the direction of what they believe in, right? What they want to, they put energy behind. And so this, while this is a real affront, it's also, I think, a turning point because it's going to, the will of the people are going to fund things like Planned Parenthood. So, I feel like there's going to be networks and connections and almost like an underground, railroad for if a woman ultimately loses, right? Except that it'll be one that is not like, back alley stuff, right? It'd be more like, supporting women to make the choice and be able to do the thing and counseling and all of that. I mean, we need to heal the wound that we have with our like not realizing that life is a gift. Life is a gift. It's an opportunity to just shine. And many people don't have that opportunity, either because of circumstance or situation, or no one ever told them they could. Domestic situation, moving away from conflict. That's interesting. Well, this says to me that a lot of these women are just going to go over water to get, if it's past the 6 weeks. If it's past the 6 weeks, they're going to have to find somewhere else to go and something else to do. I don't know, I don't know if it's legal in Mexico. Probably not, right? Because it's such a Catholic country. But it is legal in Ireland now, which was huge. I mean, talk about the goddess coming back to Ireland. Huge. Okay, hopes and fears. Chariot. Wow. Moving on. Moving on. I can't see that as a fear, really. It's a hope. It's like let's stop this ridiculousness and move on. And we have the outcome is the Queen of Swords. I feel, it started with the Page of Swords, right? And it ended with the Queen of Swords. And I'm going to pull a couple more, see if I can get a major arcana. The Queen of Swords is a woman that uses good judgment. And I feel as though a woman is going to take a big part. I don't know what woman. I don't know. Maybe it's a Texas judge that stands in the way of this. I don't know. Because I think they've already started the suits against it. Let's see if we can get a major arcana. The Knight of Swords. Well, all the swords are out tonight. The Seven of Cups reversed. I do not read reverse cards, so it's unusual that something is reversed. The illusion is lifted. The illusion is lifted. And the King of Pentacles. Monetary stability. I feel like this is actually going to fund the thing, safe and safe legal and safe abortions, but I feel like it's gonna open up a whole new sort of way of looking at this issue. Maybe from a more spiritual perspective. It's not simply law. You can't make a decision like that and have it just be a law decision. It's a moral decision. But the moral part is that which is within you. The law part is what the outside says. Here's the boundary. You can't do this. You can do this. You can't do this. But there's another side, the spiritual part, and that's the part you can't really make a law for that, and that has to be the person's choice, I think. Some people will give up their life to raise another life. They might give up a career, or they might actually, I don't know, it's like I said something to my sister-in-law. We were talking about this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, you can't expect a person to love you if you don't love yourself. You really have to open up to know on some level that you deserve love and happiness. Life is a gift. Life is a gift. So this is what I think is going to happen. I know I sort of meandered off a little bit. Um, yeah, so, okay. So underneath it, we have the Eight of Pentacles. This is really hard work. This is hard work and real work. And then we have the Victory card. And then after the Victory card, we have the Nine of Swords reversed. The anxiety is lifted. And then the next two cards are the Magician and the Sun. The choice. You know, the choice of life. The choice of life. Sometimes I think if people just mind their own business and allowed people to make the best choices for themselves, we'd be much better off. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this, even though we got a few distractions and the like. It's always a pleasure to do cards for you. If you have any questions you'd like answered that, for everyone, issues, you can write them below, and I will do my best to get to them. I have to say, not every question resonates with me, and I tend to pick the ones that I feel will give us the best sort of message. So, I don't know, but like and subscribe and share with your friends if you think it's any good. And much love, everyone. Namaste. Good night.